We play so many concerts all throughout the world. A lot of that music was just not available.
The Kronos Quartet is celebrating its 50th anniversary. Happy anniversary, Kronos Quartet.
We commissioned composers, and the pieces that we've commissioned are ours, and we publish them outright, and we put them online for free.
It really is a shining example of what a website with music and recordings and just the design is fantastic.
The composers are global, from avant-garde jazz to African music.
50 for the Future represents the state of the music that is written for string quartet at this moment in time.
And it's so cool to be a part of it.
I love chamber music. The first time I played in a quartet, I was, I think, 11. And it wasn't like I knew that it was what I wanted to do, but I knew that I just had a powerful connection to playing in a string quartet. You have this individuality, but you're also inspired by these people around you, and it feels awesome. The string quartet is so versatile, and there's, whether it's the Beethoven quartets or the Bartók quartets, like, you have just a powerful amount of music that can come from this small ensemble.
I think the medium is beautiful. I think the relationships between performers is incredible and unique. The quartet particularly has an element to be so many voices as well as one voice, and how they go about approaching that is just so unique to each ensemble. And so writing pieces that give a kind of variety of approaches feels like a way that I could kind of tap into the identity, the interests, and the ears, the sounds of individual quartets themselves.
Well, however you define a chamber setting, less than a certain number of people or no leader in a room making decisions together, new things will come out because those people are the only people in that room to have ever existed. And so they'll make what they need to make if they're really being true to themselves and not trying to just replicate what's happened before.
The only people who have ever existed. It's deep.
I'm saying though.
What we do is we reproduce music of people who had something in her mind, and we have to learn how to read the music and how to produce a new version of the idea, the musical idea of a composer.
We always joke that it would be great to get a beer with Haydn or ask Beethoven what the heck he was thinking in some of the quartets, which of course are amazing, but to actually be able to ask those questions of your friends, of your colleagues, of your peers, you get a so much more personal answer, and that then I think really affects how we as performers end up playing the piece.
But it'd also be annoying if Beethoven didn't like our ideas. It's kind of nice that we don't have to.
I feel like he might not like our ideas.
I think we'd probably annoy him a little bit.
Kronos realized that string quartet groups seem to be afraid of recent music. And so we thought, let's find a way to bring other musicians in on the fun, the exploration, the adventure that we've had over the span of our first 50 years. The composer's voice, if that person sings to us or plays their instrument for us, we've benefited from having this information, this sound, this sense of the person.
Looking at the score, you can decipher things, but sometimes it's hard to make a decision as to what is really on that page.
That's so cool. It just goes by so fast. Yeah, can we do it again?
You can think this is what's on there, but when you start playing it and getting involved with it, it might not be.
I think the example of Henry Threadgill's piece, which on the one hand is so clearly notated, it's actually beautiful how much information is present in the written score. When Curtis got him on the phone,
Henry, this is Curtis Stewart calling you.
Hey, how you doing?
And we were all here.
They're all here.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you all for playing the music.
Listening to him, it's amazing how much more perspective and dimension we now have for the piece. So it wasn't just that he answered the questions we had about the score, but also just how he imagines the piece, things that we can explore as a group.
So if we, for example, play a long phrase.
That means a long phrase and a short phrase. You play an idea.
A full idea, yeah.
Mary had a little lamb. Da 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 da.
That's a long phrase.
Short is like boom 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 boom.
What's that?
That's the luxury of working with a living composer, is that you can really go beyond the score.
I want the musicians' musicality to be the thing that was the guidelines for them. The sense of musicality would allow you to find the right tempos and the right dynamics and things like that, you know.
That seemed to work. Yeah.
You've been trained to be musical all your life, so now I'm giving you the opportunity to really be musical rather than just reading the script. There's room in this script, a lot of room in it.
When we got to the improv section, the more like groove loops that you have going on, I was like, oh, this is just like your band. It's like, it's so cool to be playing this stuff. So in terms of the improvisatory writing, I actually found that he was way more specific than we initially thought he would have been. And then with the writing, with the written portions, he was like, yes, you know, just make sure it just sounds musical. It seemed like that was what I gained from it.
Mary had a little lamb.
I remember very clearly when we were with the Kronos Quartet in New York, David said, well, Phil is in town, I'll give him a call. And we were like, okay. So Philip Glass came around in a lunch break and we played the 5th String Quartet for him. We played a piece with a lot less vibrato than the Kronos does. And we asked Philip Glass about that, and he said, yeah, vibrato, non-vibrato, I'm fine with both if you do it musically.
Yeah.
So that was really also an eye-opener for me, that composers are not some kind of saints, because they can change their opinion, or they can like something that you do which they maybe didn't think of themselves.
You really become part of the history of the choices that other people make with the piece and the interpretations that other people, so the piece goes on this journey and people start to incorporate, the traditions of previous performances and making their own.
I think this traditional idea of the composer, the authority, the performer, the servant in a way. Remember, all of these great old composers, Haydn, Mozart, Beethoven, these guys were great improvisers, great performers in their own right. And so this notion that the composer-performer dichotomy is now blending again is a very exciting time in history, I think, actually.
It's an opportunity to see what music is like around the world from the comfort of a single festival.
As a kind of kaleidoscopic adventure of human creativity, I think this will rank among my favorites, let's put it that way.